true story about two podcasters who went to see a movie on August 9th at 2:17 p.m. After the movie, they disappeared. For no reason whatsoever, they left the theater in a state of shock, ran out into the parking lot towards Costco, and never returned again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Riff podcast. My name is Bill Markey.
My name is Thomas Angelo.
And today, if you couldn't tell by the intro, we are riffing on weapons. I was laughing repeatedly trying to, in my head,
I was not prepared.
Get into that. I wasn't rehearsing in my head. I was just like, there's something here to fuck around with this movie. The movie, again, being weapons. So let's get into the tail of tape, and then we will get into the spoiler-free version and then spoiler version. This is how the intro should go.
Yes, I like
that
it.
sounded
I like
more
it. I fucking like it. There you go.
It's got to start with a skit on the mic or something. Weapons came out August 8th, of course, 2025. Written and directed by Zach Cregger. Produced by Zach Cregger, amongst a myriad of other people. Cast: Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Austin Abrams, Benedict Wong, Benedict Wong, Adi Madigan, Carrie Christopher, and a slew of others. And in terms of what the movie's about, if you couldn't tell by the intro, if you don't already know, its plot follows the seemingly inexplicable case of 17 children from the same classroom who mysteriously run away on the very same night at the same time, 2:17 in the morning, who, you know what? I don't want to say the rest is hypnosis because we're going to go spoiler free.
Okay.
So
cool.
Essentially it is about where are these kids and how the fuck do we get them back and what's going on.
And it follows this through multiple different perspectives.
Yep.
This is even in a spoiler, but in the movie, they're told like chapters of a book. And it actually really reminds me of this book called Wonder that I had to read in 7th grade, where it's the same story, the exact same story told from 6 different perspectives. So it's about the main character, and then about his mom, and then about his dad, and then it's about his sister. Then it gets into like the sister's boyfriend, and like all the different crazy perspectives. And this movie kind of does the same thing, where like it'll go up Justine, then we'll see Justine's perspective, and then Archer, we'll see Archer's perspective. And I thought that was really cool.
We've spoke about this before. We like movies where there's, I guess the right word is a convergence of like where, just like you said, all these people, how do they come together to the meeting point? Just like there's all the kids converge together, like at a certain meeting point, the kids who run away. I know that you start to touch on the themes of the movie here.
But we can just get into it. We liked it, so.
But what did you think?
I love this movie. I mean, this was probably my highest, in terms of expectations. Like, my expectations were high for this film.
Me too.
And my anticipation was high. It's probably my most anticipated film of the year.
Yeah.
It was Superman, just because I was interested in seeing where the DCU was going to feel like and where it was going to go. But in terms of just original films, this was always my most anticipated.
Yeah.
Just because it has such an electric premise of just like, where the fuck are these kids going? Like at the same time, running in the same way.
Yep. It's
so creepy. But really love this film. I found it predictable, but in a good way. As in the way it was. When it reveals what type of subgenre of horror we're in, it's just the way that we got there was so fucking interesting that's why this movie works so well for me. It's predictable, but the way that we get there is so fucking cool. And it's full of such rich and complex characters that feel so uncomfortable that's almost the true horror of the film, is the trauma that lives within each of these characters and the guilt and the sexual affairs and the alcohol abuse and all the vices that we see. Like, that's really the true horror of this movie. And I think this movie is about much more than 17 kids going missing.
And the idea that you're telling this story through the individuals, you're not just watching a story unfold like a traditional movie.
This is very much about characters.
Yeah, it's more character than anything.
Yes.
Like the thing with a lot of these modern day horror movies, and this is another plus to this film, is there's been times where, and this was not one of those movies, but there's been times we're going into a movie, or once I'm in the movie and I see what's going on, I'm like, oh, okay, another movie about your trauma and how you carry your trauma.
And most recently, it's always about a cult.
Cults.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like, okay, there's a supernatural entity. This movie has things that in other movies I've been rolled my eyes at, but didn't in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, he took themes that we've seen in a lot of movies recently, horror movies, I should say, at least in my opinion. But he just, the way he did it, I never thought at one point, oh, another movie about what you carry with you, how you deal with your trauma. Like, at no point was I like, oh, this is like this movie, or this is like that. Like,
this film is really just about flawed people and how their abuse and their trauma like affects them.
Right.
And I really think that's what this movie is truly about. Yeah, I know people are gonna be like, what is Thomas talking about? It's a horror movie about people about kids disappearing. But no, this is much more about that. And I think that is very clearly shown through the way that we are introduced to this story, through the different perspectives, and the way that Cregger wrote this screenplay. It feels very character rich and complex. Especially, there's a lot of dream and surreal like elements in this film that I'll get into later in the spoilers, but that's really character based. I really like that perspective. And in terms of the performances, Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, and Alden Ehrenreich are awesome. Amy Madigan, her character is fucking awesome, and her performance is fucking awesome. But Julia Garner really stood out to me here. Josh Brolin always stands out. I would say he did stand out, but he's great in everything, and I know he's going to be great in everything. Yeah. He's old reliable. Julia Garner, I didn't really like her performance in Fantastic Four. Not that it was bad, I just didn't think...
I don't think that was her fault.
It wasn't her fault. It's just the character was so shoddily served. She's given so much here, and she's the first character that we experience through the story, and she plays the teacher in which, her entire class is who disappears. And so, every parent is looking to why the fuck was it just her class?
Right.
And the guilt that we see her live through is like really, really got to me. And that's the type of horror that affects me. It's the Ari Aster type of horror, where we see guilt-ridden characters, we see trauma-ridden characters, and we see the uncomfortability that they have in their own skin, and that makes me uncomfortable in my own skin. Yeah. Love this film.
This movie, I heard somebody say it's Hereditary meets Magnolia. I heard Sean Fennessy say that. I
very much so.
Have not seen Magnolia yet. I'm putting that on my list for this week.
It's really
after you met. I know
it's a 3-hour epic film about how, like, I don't remember the exact number of characters, but it's about 9 characters in the San Fernando, Los Angeles Valley, and how their lives converge on the same day.
Well, that makes sense based off this. And Hereditary, like, again, to this movie's credit, and like thinking in comparison to Hereditary, is you can say the main theme of Hereditary to somebody, but it doesn't do it justice. Same with this one. You're like, well, it's about these kids, but hold on, it's not just
like, that's just the way we get into the story.
That gets you in the door.
And honestly, and obviously that's the main mystery of the film, but that is not what this movie is about.
No.
That portion of the film is probably 20 minutes. And
what brings it more is like, okay, that's the theme, that's what gets you in the door, but then just like Hereditary, what gets you truly into the movie is the characters. Mm-hmm. And what they're experiencing, and then how they, most importantly, in my opinion, interact with each other.
Yeah, well, I heard Cregger talk about this in an interview where he was essentially like, the way that he writes scripts is actually the way that I like to write my own scripts. And you get a fun premise. Like, he just had the premise of 2:17 p.m., all these kids go missing, and you don't really know where the story's going, and you just write from there. Mm. And so it almost was like that was his hook to get us into the theaters, to get our ass in the seats.
Right.
And then it's almost like he kind of plays a trick on you where that's not what this movie's about. It is about that, but it's not what it's about.
Right.
And that's not what he's trying to really talk about. Like, people were always like, before the movie came out, people were like, oh, it's going to be about school shootings. Like, that's what the theme and the metaphor is going to be about. And it's not at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, never heard that.
I saw a lot of discourse on Twitter about that. But that's not, this movie's not even really about kids in general. This movie's about trauma.
Yeah. I'm catching myself because we're going spoiler free right
Yeah,
now.
let's keep going spoiler free. You can talk
let's-
more about what you liked about in the film because I know I just fucking monologue. So
I actually have a question
Yeah.
for you. You're in film school right now. You've made some short films yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely elements of things you catch that I don't, or I can appreciate it, but then you can really dive into it and almost like helps me realize, oh, that's why I liked it. Like I couldn't really fully word it. So I feel like you could speak definitely better to it than I can, how you felt about and what caught you regarding the cinematography.
Okay, yeah. So the cinematography
And overall, sorry, one more thing. The camera work in this fucking movie.
it's incredible.
Fucking loved what they did with the camera work.
It is so. This movie's alive.
So talk about the two C's, cinematography, camera work.
So the cinematography was done by Larkin Serpi, I believe is the name. I could be completely fucking that up. But what is notable about that is they were the cinematographer on Everything Everywhere All at Once. Seipel. Yeah.
Sorry.
They were done. They were the cinematographer on Everything Everywhere All at Once, and also on that film I didn't see, but my dad saw it on a plane. Wolf's, the Brad Pitt and Clooney action film. That's really not of note, but Everything Everywhere All at Once, that won Best Picture, and they did the cinematography for that. And one of the big things about that film was the cinematography, and that is very much in here. This film feels so alive, and I really mean that in the way that the camera angles and how they're done. There's a couple shots in this film where we see the back of a character's head and they're looking at something. So we're looking at what they're looking at. And then they go like this. I know for anyone listening on the audio, I'm just tilting my head. Like
He's doing the Michael Myers head tilt.
Yeah. They tilt their head around a corner to see what's there. And the camera not only moves on a dolly to like the right, but it's moving, but it tilts with their head. You. And it's almost like we are mimicking the actions of the characters, and that only makes the filmmaking feel alive.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the horror is like seeping into us because we are literally like they're doing what we are, what we would do. But the camera's mimicking it. It feels so fucking alive. It feels so well done. And there's so much different camera languages in this film. There's, a lot of Steadicam. There's a lot of shaky cam. A lot of dolly, the camera moving on dollies, like the camera angles, so many, like a lot of cool Dutch angles. Like, fuck, this movie is really incredible in terms of that. But the biggest thing of note was how the camera work feels alive and that it's mimicking the character's actions.
That's what I think. You said it before I did yesterday, or you at least said what I was thinking or feeling, I should say, when you said the movie is unnerving. And I also credit that heavily, it's obvious to say this though, but for this movie to the camera work. It wasn't just like the scene or, oh shit, what's going to happen or what's behind that door. It was the way it was shot. It was just that there's a reveal. It's this, not saying too much, but it's during Brolin's dream where they cut to Brolin, cut, and you're like, when the fuck is it coming? I know it's coming, and it still got me.
No, that's one of the scenes that tricked me into a false sense of security. I thought it was gonna be one thing, and then it fucking gets you. Great jump scares.
I mean, the little amount of hair I have on my arms is just because I shave my arms, is like just standing up. I'm still getting the goosebumps from this movie, but the camera work, that's what definitely got me at points.
Great cinematography by Larkin.
Like, there's a scene, and I can't remember exactly which one. All I know is, or what he's doing in the scene, is it's Brolin. And the camera just feels like somebody's just holding it and just squeezing it. Like, it's not like it's this erratic, shaky cam. It's like the camera's trembling. And that
it feels alive. It feels like the camera's another person in this film. It feels really, really unique.
That was a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I really got to say this screenplay is like brilliant, and I think it just comes from the way that he wrote it. And I know that he had talked about in interviews that this script really came in his mind, and it's kind of how he was trying to handle the trauma of losing his best friend.
And there was something else he said. I think was it he lost two people?
It may
there was two events.
But this is how he was trying to handle his trauma. And what I think is really interesting is this movie is really about not only our trauma, but how we come out after our trauma and respond to it. And even the little epilogue of this film kind of dives into that.
Speak on it. You're on a roll. I want you to keep talking about it.
It's not. I only get into that with the spoilers.
True. Sorry.
But this film, it feels like it came from a real place of trauma, and it feels so alive. Like the screenplay just really feels so alive. I felt, and I know it worked because even last night I had the motivation to like even just like start writing little scenes again and like everything, and like anytime
of your own,
of my own, yeah. And anytime that I come out of a movie and I want to write that night, I know that's a good screenplay. Like it's a great screenplay when it motivates me to get off my ass and like actually write a little bit, or just like even have the want to like write. Like I need to stop. I don't even know what I want to write, but I just want to write right now. And I turned on the soundtrack to this film, and the score was done by Ryan
Halliday.
Halliday. Both of them, last name. But Zach Cregger also had some sort of involvement in the score because his name's on it. But the score is really good. A lot of tribal influences.
I looked over to you a couple times.
And a lot of just like a lot of hard drums.
Yep.
And a lot of like that of like, and it's in a lot of modern horror movies nowadays. The one note that just keeps repeating, repeating one note. But there's also some crazy violin scores in this. There's a crazy violin. I'm pretty sure it's a violin piece. And maybe if I'm mistaken, I'm wrong. You guys can call me out. But I think it's a violin that plays during what was easily the scariest scene of the film. And we could also talk about the camera work about that. So there's essentially a scene where
basement?
No.
Okay.
There's essentially a scene where we see a threat, and we see a threat coming close to our main character, and the main character does not know that the threat is coming. But then the threat is off screen, and the camera doesn't show us what's going on, but we can hear the threat off screen. The sound design, fucking electric in that scene, but it's even the fact that the camera is now the camera, which we thought was on our side because it was mimicking the actions of the characters and doing what we would do in that scenario. Now the camera's working against us. So he's using the own cinematic language of the film to fuck with us. And that is good horror.
Say that
good
again?
filmmaking.
Explain that again.
So the film kind of leads us into the security because there's a lot of scenes beforehand of the camera mimicking not only what we would do in the situation, like tilting and looking at a threat that we heard or something, and mimicking the character's actions. But now, because the character's asleep, it's almost like the camera's asleep.
We stay asleep.
And we stay asleep. But because we're the audience, it's like this. It's like this. That's
we want to move.
We want to move, but
audience.
nope. The camera is working as the character, and it's not gonna move. And it's the camera work tying in with the sound design, tying in with just how creepy the threat is. But what needles it all together is that crazy violin score that plays. Just talking about how all the mechanics of this film work together in unison, like it's just a great fucking movie, guys. Everything is working together so well.
Very excited. This episode is brought to you by Zyn Spearmint 3 milligram nicotine pouches. That was the closing of my. I'm kidding. It's not. Second time that you've mentioned something, or I've thought about the same thing. Thought about this film, and again, I'm getting the goosebumps. Like. We're gonna be all over the place with this thing. This is gonna be hard to fucking.
I know. I'm trying to talk about talk about the mechanics of the film right now.
Wasn't there a little bit of a? There was a song in there that reminded me of in Eddington, where there's just like a ding, ding.
Yeah,
it's just like
you're talking about one towards the ends of the film.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But this almost gave me vibes. Maybe I'm wrong here. This makes me want. This is so fucking random to say, but he's done tribal music and this makes me want to see Ludwig Göransson do a horror movie.
I mean, Ludwig did a horror movie with Sinners.
One? True.
Maybe we want to say it's like a semi-horror film.
Because he just does that tribal
but it's
music
different,
really well, like The Mandalorian. And like, I love that. Almost, I want to say it's Western-y. Like, it just reminds me, like, you could have taken some of the music yesterday and even thrown it in other movies. And to me, it would work. Like, I don't know. It's creepy. And there's some songs on that soundtrack that are scary, but it also has different. I don't know why. Maybe it's the banging or whatever, the drums that makes it like what you said, almost like what was another word you described? Like, did you say like tribal?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of tribal influence on this. But there's a lot of score. Most of the score in this film is just like one note repeating.
Yeah.
There's actually a main theme too on the score that I almost don't even remember from the film, but there is kind of like a medley that plays. This like soothing, soft, romantic medley that plays a lot during Garner's scenes.
Yes.
I think I don't even know if it's her character's theme, but it sounds like a suite for her character almost. That is a really beautiful score. So the score is kind of all over the place, but it's really effective. and it ties in so well with the filmmaking. Like really
it's adjusting to what's on the screen really well and the characters.
Everything is working in unison, and it all goes back to character.
Yeah.
And that's why I gotta say this is almost like a masterwork of horror. Like it feels so intentional. It's really good.
So Julia Garner, does she steal this movie for you?
A little bit. I mean, I really loved her in Ozark. I just saw her in Fantastic Four, and I feel like she was really underserved. And this movie, I mean, I put it on my Instagram story after. I'm like, just Julia Garner, the actress you are. Like, she really just impressed me with her performance in this. I felt her guilt, but I also felt the complex nature of her character's mind.
Yes.
And
yeah, she wasn't just like.
No,
going back to it, it's like Hereditary.
She's very much.
I feel
her and Toni Collette's characters are kind of similar.
Okay, I was also going to bring her back to Alex Wolff in a way.
Yes,
where it's like Alex Wolff, what happens to him, but then
I'd actually relate Brolin's character more to Alex Wolff.
Okay, because there's also times where again, I guess I say this about Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel for you. Then there's times where I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he does a little vandalizing at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Same where when Alex Wolff gets up and he starts yelling at his family. I even went like, shut the fuck up and sit down. Like in Julia Garner, she's not perfect. She's not just.
You could feel Brolin's character's desperation and guilt too, because he plays the dad of one of the kids who goes missing. But you could tell that he was the type of dad that was a little league coach.
Yes.
Was really hard on his kid, forced his kid to play sports, and never really told his kid that he loved him.
Yes.
And you could feel the regret and the guilt and the desperation in all of his character's actions and just through his eyes. Really, so fucking good. He was great. So good.
You just spawned a thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cregger's has said this in an interview, but something that happens when somebody passes away. So, I mean, not that we all experience it, but, or maybe we do. Maybe it's safe to say we all get a little bit of this, is what you last said to them, what you didn't say, what you could have said.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those tones are big time with Brolin. Like
very much.
Maybe
it's the unspoken.
Maybe because of you sparked that thought for me because of the type of father that you think he is, and I think so. Then when he has his kids gone, I think there's a lot of that. Like maybe he comes out of this. I definitely think he does. Like a changed, not just individual, but parent. It's like, I lost my kid. Like, how does this shape their relationship going forward? It's not just I lost my kid. It's like, it could have been based on the type of dad he was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the things you don't say to your kid. Because here's another thing. We see in flashbacks, his kid's a fucking prick.
Yes. Yeah. And you could feel the transfer of energy down to that kid. Really interesting note about that kid too that we'll get into in the spoiler section.
Kid's a bully. And you're a little boy who's 7 years old, whatever you are, easily influenced. That's probably coming down from the top.
Yep.
Because you see how
is.
Brolin reacts. Granted, he's going through something traumatic. You see how he reacts a bit, dare I say, regardless of his trauma, immaturely at times.
Very.
So I almost feel like you could look at that and be like,
reactions.
So again, like what changes these people coming out of it? And some will get into it, or something happens to these people that's shit. And then it's like, okay, what comes out of this? Almost like for the better for some of these characters. And I think Brolin comes out as probably a better parent.
Maybe. Well, and we could talk about that later in the spoiler section.
I do want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw my question back at me.
Okay.
The more I think of this film, and Julia Garner, I think as of right now, and this can change the more we talk about it, I think this movie fuck it. The person who stole the movie for me was Alden Ehrenreich.
Wow, really?
And he stole the movie for me the more I think about it.
We could talk about him a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Now?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, not spoilers, but like I want to talk about his performance.
I'll just do a quick, because I feel like I've been talking too much. Quick thing on why he takes the movie for me. He takes the movie for me as his character, and Alden Ehrenreich. What's his character's name?
Paul Morgan.
It's Paul?
It's Paul Morgan.
Okay. He steals it for me as Paul, and as Alden. Similar to Julia, we haven't seen them in everything yet, but Alden, in my opinion, delivered a solid Han Solo. He was heavily criticized for it. Maybe that was supposed to be a movie, that was supposed to be a launching point. It wasn't.
I like his little performance in Oppenheimer too.
I was going to say, in Oppenheimer, it's like I'm waiting, and nothing against him. I'm waiting for that thing. I'm like, that,
yes.
Boom. And to me, as Alden Ehrenreich, I was like, I think this is the movie. No, this is the movie where I go, when his name's on it, I'm more excited now. Mm-hmm. Like, I like him as is. He was great in Cocaine Bear. But, like, now he's a guy who I'm like Jeremy Strong. Where I'm like, when the name is there, I'm most likely getting a ticket because I just see the name. And as a character, just what he did for that character.
He's another complicated character.
Flawed as fuck, but holy shit, do I feel bad for that guy. And he carries, I'm going to shut up in a minute, I say that a lot. He carries it, like his face, like I don't know if anybody has better facials in this movie than him. Like when they show him and he's just like, he wears downtrodden really well.
Yep.
And like my brother-in-law is a cop. My best friend is a detective. I have a lot of friends that are cops, like close friends too. I have, I'm going to go on a rant, sorry. I've seen them, I can't say what they've been through, obviously, on this podcast. They've shared with me things they've had to deal with, especially my best friend, who's a detective. And I say that because detectives have different shit they have to get into. Psychologically, his job has affected him. I've been on the... God, I hope he doesn't watch this episode. But no, I hope he watches it. But he would probably get pissed. He's had to call me to talk about stuff that he just went through. And he's a father himself. Mm-hmm. He's had to call me to talk about what that job does. Specifically as a detective, certain things he's had to investigate. And I've seen his job change his demeanor. And I've seen that look Alden Ehrenreich does. I'm pointing to his name on my phone. That look, I've seen that on my friend. So it's the wearing down of the job, but it's also just everything else that's going on. And one more thing, I've seen my buddy and my brother-in-law when outside things combined with the craziness of being a cop, which I think is key to that character. He's not just like, no offense to anybody who works at a convenience store. He's not just working at a convenience store. He's a police officer. Then dealing with a lot of shit at home.
Yeah.
And in his head. So that, I'm going to shut up. For me, Alden Ehrenreich, he's my star for the movie.
I think, so yeah, and Paul's a really interesting character because...
Fuck, I love that performance.
Not only is he a cop, but he's a cop that's working, his father-in-law is the sergeant.
Son of a bitch.
He has the stress of working under his father-in-law, trying to keep the relationship good, and his character, his main plot in this film is about him struggling with his vices and how that all plays into him making a pretty fatal mistake.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting seeing his character's response to it, how he tries to hide it, all these different really interesting things. His performance was really good. It wasn't a standout performance for me. Really interesting note is, I heard Cregger talk about it. John C. Reilly in Magnolia plays a cop who has a very specific mustache, and it's the exact same mustache he gave Alden.
That's a cop mustache. Yes. My brother-in-law has grown out his mustache. I'm like, the fuck are you doing with that? Sometimes in November, they do No Shave November, and every cop has a mustache. He just like, yes. He looks like a cop. How was this movie? Question. And this is, I don't know, maybe this is just me throwing something. I don't know if it's a question. It's not a question. It's a compliment. With all that this movie does, it tells, 6 chapters of characters? 7? Roughly? 6 to 8? 6 to 8 rep range? 4 sets on the bench?
6.
I'm talking about working out now. 6. With all that this movie does, here's the theme of the movie, 2:17 a.m., the kids leave. Here's all...
Hold on. Keep that thought. Go ahead. We'll go into spoilers after this. Good.
Here's all the... You weren't impressed by that? The fact that I just hold that pose?
I was impressed. I was.
For those of you just listening, the camera we had to wake up the camera for YouTube, and I froze myself in the position I was last talking. So anyway, you take together all these chapters in the movie, and some are longer than others. You take the theme of the movie, you hear how we're gushing about it. We haven't got to spoilers. I am impressed that this movie, even though for some people this is a lot, he did this in about 2 hours. 2 hours and 8 minutes. Take off 5 minutes for credits. He basically did it in 2 hours. Mm-hmm. How the fuck did he fit all this in and
so many complex characters,
not make it feel overstuffed?
A huge mystery. Yeah, I'm hearing people say that it's understuffed, and that like they wanted more from each of these characters, and I feel that way. But I think that's a sign of a good film. He gave us just the perfect amount. We could talk about our interpretations of these characters and everything. This
makes me want more Zach Cregger. I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I mean, in terms of what I really want to mention.
But doesn't this movie sound like it's 3 hours?
I know. And Magnolia is a 3-hour movie.
Right.
But he was able to do this in 2 hours, so it's effective. But Amy Madigan, without talking about any spoilers with her
Goosebumps again. Third time I'm getting chills thinking about this.
Fuck, is she good? And I saw someone comment on our Instagram, like, I'm tired of like the stereotype of like old scary women in films.
That's Tammy's daughter, Caitlin.
Yeah, and to a point,
who one day we're gonna have on the show.
Yeah, no, to a point, I agree with their reaction because that is kind of what Amy Madigan's character is, but she's not the horror of this film. The horror is of the characters, but God, is her performance electric. It's so alive, so fun, so maniacal. It's so effective. And
I keep getting chills during this
I get
episode.
chills when thinking about her character and
like down to my ankles.
The makeup that they have her in. Oh my God, it is. She is so amazing. I want to see her in more things. I was really impressed by her. I would actually say her and Garner's performances are my favorite. Brolin gives an electric performance as well, but I know that he would. Garner, I was interested to see like if she was gonna be able to carry the weight of this role because it's a weighty role, and Amy Madigan was just a fucking left field surprise for me in this, and I think she's a real reason why you guys should go see this movie in theaters. Like, really, please go see this movie in theaters. It is a movie that is full on fucking made for the movie theater like experience.
100%.
This won't be as good watching at home. You will be missing out on this movie if you do not watch it in a theater packed with people. You will be missing out.
I want to go right after this in IMAX.
I know.
I want to look up showtimes like tonight. I don't got to work till 9:30 tomorrow. She gives me energy of Kathy Bates, like almost like Misery, where and I just mean that in not the same character. I just mean as, again, she's not the true horror of the movie, but look at a picture of Kathy Bates. And then look at a picture of Amy Madigan without all her fucking makeup on. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, oh, that sweet. She'd probably just make me cookies.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean by like Kathy Bates energy. Where, like, Toni Collette, she does a crazy thing with her eyes. And
she looks frantic.
She's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, or Glenn Close. But when you look at, like, Kathy Bates and Amy Madigan, the idea that that's what you're looking at and then what they're going to do to you, what they're going to do to the characters, you're like, oh, God damn.
I know. I also want to talk about Austin Abrams.
Yeah.
He plays a really fun role in this, kind of like the out-of-nowhere Justin Long perspective from Barbarian. And he brought a lot of comic relief to the movie.
To me, he's like, what if James Franco and Pineapple Express really got out of hand?
Yeah, seriously.
Like he gave me that energy.
He's really great in this performance because he plays this role where you feel really bad for him, but he's also doing really fucked up things, so you don't really feel that bad for him.
We can't talk
but
about it.
But it's played in a very funny way, and his misadventures lead to a very horrific finding, and it's really his character is great.
It made me think of Franco and Pineapple Express.
No, that's a great comparison.
This like, hey man, and like kind of energy.
Come on, man.
Right, yeah. But then, and you have to remember with this character, we'll get into spoilers. There is what he's dealing with personally in his life is something that's going to hit home for people, big time. I think everybody's is going to be able to think of somebody in their family or friends that might be going through something that his character's experiencing.
Yeah.
And you almost have to remind yourself, oh, this is what, again, Alden Ehrenreich is battling the stresses of being a police officer before everything else comes in, or as he's dealing with other things. This guy's baseline. It's like everybody has like a baseline, like Julia Garner, the teacher who then loses the students. But here's what else. Here's more to her character.
There's a lot more to her
Here's
character.
the fucked up side. Brolin is the parent who loses a kid. But here's the fucked up side.
Alden Ehrenreich, cop.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all...
Austin Abrams, here's his thing. We'll get into the spoilers. But all the fucked up shit that then comes with him. But I feel more for him maybe because his starting point is not a good one.
No.
It influences your life.
No. His character is much more about desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much to say about Benedict Wong. He plays the principal as well. He's great in everything.
Yeah.
His perspective's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Really, they fucked it up with the marketing. They gave too much away of his character because the stuff about his character does not come in until like an hour and a half into the film, like hour and 20 minutes into the film. What the fuck were they doing with the marketing there? I don't know. But he's great. My final thoughts to leave it here is the filmmaking is exceptional. The screenplay is one of the best I think we've had in a while, and I really hope I really hope Warner Brothers releases it to the public because I would really love to read this screenplay. I think it's really brilliant. Cannot wait for Cregger's next film, and I'll at least leave it here. Like, if you don't go and see this in a theater, I think you're missing out on one of the best films of the year.
We both said in theater experience, we need like 1 or 2 more times.
I really think so. I need like 2 or 3 more times for this
I
film.
need an IMAX experience.
This was a really beautiful film. I really enjoyed it.
You want to get into spoilers?
We can get into spoilers now, yes.
So I feel like we're going to keep talking about some of the same things. We might as well be able to also talk about the spoilers.
Do you want to go in order of the perspectives?
Yes.
So we can keep it a bit organized?
Because I was actually going to start with that. I was going to say, let's talk about the perspectives.
Yeah, so
like the things we were just talking about, now we can dive into it.
The film begins with narration, the narration that you hear in the trailer. And we actually never know who it is who is saying this. We never know who the narrator of the film is. And it's at the beginning, at the end, at the ending of the film that we hear this little girl's narration. And I really like this narration because it could have been, a little expository and they're saying too much and they're just giving us the setup of the movie. But really, it's not the setup of the movie. It's the premise of the movie, and it's more just getting it. It's our entrance into the story because the movie is about these characters and their lives and the trauma that they live with and how this one event sucks. It is like a pot, like a stew,
Melting
and
pot.
all their trauma is the ingredients, and it's like the convergence of it, the bubbling up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There is, through Amy Madigan, she has the melting bowl.
Yes.
The melting pot of all the ingredients.
All the ingredients.
That goes into essentially, it's why this movie happens.
Cool little note. Yeah, we'll get there. But I really like the narration mostly because it was written like a little girl would actually talk. She says like a lot, and she makes fun of the police a lot. Like it feels, did you see The Black Phone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
It felt like the person who was narrating it was the daughter in that movie.
Oh, I love that girl. She stole the movie.
She had the same energy. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question while you're on this.
Yes.
Maybe I'm overthinking and stretching a bit here. The way that you said the movie is this premise of the kids leave at 2:17 a.m., but there's so much more to it when you're sitting in the theater.
That's the bullshit entrance into the story. This is a way deeper film.
Maybe this is stretching a little bit, but is it also the way that the girl narrates just the basic nature of the film? The kids leave at 2:17. Is that also, do you think it's because to a young kid, like a child, like they would only also understand just the basics?
Yeah, just the basics. And I also think it sets it up, the story, as like this folklore fairy tale.
Yeah.
But in a more modern sense.
Yeah.
Because she talks about the Ring doorbells and stuff. And
Good
there's a lot of Ring doorbells in this movie.
A lot of fucking doors. Doors and windows.
Yeah.
Osgood Perkins did this in Long Legs. Continuously putting things to be like, is something going to be in that window? Is the door going to open? What's behind the door? Like that whole thing of like being in a piece of scenery where you might be looking at this, like when Julia Garner sees Alden Ehrenreich standing there in the living room at the end, but there's just all this fucking, like, I'm looking around at the shadow to the left.
Yes.
Is something going to come out of there? Like, those stills were freaking me out.
A lot of good use of darkness too.
Yeah.
But I love the little opening, and then we get right into Justine Gandy's perspective, the teacher who lost all 17 of her kids except one, and we immediately open on her being scrutinized by the town, and
Calling
all
her
the
a witch.
and all the parents calling her a witch. And we get right into the complex nature of her character, because the first scene, it establishes why we should feel for her, and the guilt that she's obviously living with. Like, she loved these kids. It's clear, and the movie shows that she loved these kids. It's not just her saying that. Mm-mm. But, we see that, but then we hear, oh, she got kicked out of her last school for inappropriate behavior.
DUI
oh, she's about to entertain an affair. Oh, she drove a kid home. Oh, like, she's crossing the boundaries between teacher-student relationship a little bit too much. Like, but that's showing that she loves these kids, but that's also showing that there's
too much.
There's a complex nature to her.
And she's a drinker.
She's a she is
legit.
Showing her vices. She's a legit drinker.
She had a DUI.
She had a DUI. It's a very flawed human being that we can feel emotions for, but we could also be like, oh, damn.
I can see somebody, if they're not almost thinking too much, they could almost take the side. Not like what this movie does, even though I think it's pretty obvious. You watch it and you're like, she didn't have anything to do with it. Mm-hmm. I could argue some people might walk into this movie, and as they're watching it, maybe in the beginning, they might think,
you don't know.
No, I think it might be her.
Yeah, it might be her. Like, the movie, like, it's a great, because that the plot, the elements of her character and the deepness of her character not only enhances the plot, but it enhances the mystery.
Right.
And that's what all these perspectives do. We get really interesting character details, and that's the horror of the film as well. But it also progresses the main narrative and the main plot of the missing kids. It's doing both at the same time. So it's like you kind of have the building plot of the missing kids, which eventually gets revealed, but you also get the real horror of the film, and it's how the trauma of this event is exploring all the different deepness and vices of each of these characters,
There's just more things that come to mind that I bring this back to real life, where something is happening in your life that is traumatic, but where your baseline is also determines, like, maybe how you deal with that thing. And what I mean is, like, if something fucked up happens to me, it could be elevated by what I'm already, like, what my baseline is. You know what I mean? Like, where, like, to them, the events of the movie, affect them. Yeah. But then it's also what they're carrying internally that don't have to do with that. Again, Justine Gandy, Julia Garner, crossing boundaries with students, DUI, getting kicked out of her last school, the shit she's already dealing with, extramarital affairs with Alden Ehrenreich's character. Again, Austin Abrams, I'm going to go off the rails for a second, then we'll get back. His baseline, he's an addict. And then he's also, that is going to play into how, what happens in the movie, how that all convert, because his mindset is already not sound.
Yeah, it's more so just like these missing kids is how we are exploring the flawed nature of these individuals.
And that's what I mean by, like, what you take to something.
How their trauma is being weaponized.
Right. And it's like, again, what you take into a situation already. You know what I mean? Like, how is what you're already going through, what you're carrying, then going to mix in when shit hits the fan in your life with something else? Like, if you're not already, like, pretty leveled out and you're already going through some shit, then something happens. Now it's all fucked up for you. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah. Like, shifting perspective to Josh Brolin's character, Archer,
and
how he lost his son, Matthew, we see how his trauma gets weaponized when he paints the words witch on the car. And that's even like a mini mystery in the narrative that is explored through nonlinear storytelling, because we see the witch thing on Gandy's car during her perspective, and we're like, oh, who could have wrote that? We see the truck. We're like, who has a truck? And then when we switch to Josh Brolin's perspective, we go like, oh, fuck, Brolin has...
that was him.
Brolin.
Brolin.
But Brolin has a truck. Oh, the paint on the door.
Right.
Oh, it's like that. That is so fucking cool, exploring narratives like that.
Again, how about, to go back to what we were just saying, how you react, where you're already at baseline, and then how you react to something traumatic. Josh Brolin, just like Alden Ehrenreich, can't do his job well. Like, he's a construction worker, whatever. They're building houses.
Yeah.
He's not ordering the right shit. He's dropping the ball. It's like what's happening to him is just sprouting into other areas of his life. So it's like what's already going on is affecting everything.
I think the witch thing is just the weaponization of his trauma.
Yeah.
And something that's really interesting in this film that I think is just going to be open to our own interpretation is his dreams. And we could have talked about Justine's dream too, where Amy Madigan pops up and like what that means. But Archer's dream is much more interesting because there's a very surreal image of an assault rifle above his house, and on the assault rifle is the
his house in the
217
dream? I thought it was.
No, it's his.
Oh, it's his.
It's
I'm sorry.
Because he runs into the darkness, and it just brings him right back to his house.
Shit,
He can't. His memory of the dream is only what he saw on the Ring doorbell. So when he tries to escape the dream, he ends up right back where he started. Really cool detail. Like, his brain is only working off what it has.
Right.
Like, the dream is not exploring this pseudo like crazy narrative where it's like, oh, he's exploring something else in his dream. What the pseudo narrative crazy thing about that is Amy Madigan popping up, and what does that mean? But what did you think the giant assault rifle above his house symbolized or meant, if anything?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I can try to. I can't even theorize. I don't know.
So I heard in an interview, Cregger said that doesn't really have a meaning, and it more so just comes from a dream he had where he saw a floating assault rifle, and he just found it works in the narrative. My interpretation of it is, okay, well, Archer's seeing it, so we have to link it to Archer's character in some way.
Yeah.
Right? And I think my interpretation of it just comes from like the manliness of his character and the weaponization of his own trauma. Because, I mean, you really could just be a baseline of like, oh, 217's on it, so we're just saying the kids are the weapons. And, you know, obviously the kids get weaponized by...
I took that as like the kids are the bullets.
By gladness. Yeah, like, like the alarm's almost maybe the gun, and the kids are the bullets. And a little interesting that just popped up in my head, 217. There's 2 survivors in the classroom, Justine and Alex, and 17 kids that go missing. Do you think? I don't know, dude. I don't know. That just fucking popped in my head.
That can't be a coincidence.
That can't be a coincidence.
Because why would you? I mean, did Cregger wake up and be like, "What's the 217? That works."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
maybe
it's a very thought
so.
of thing. But the gun is so interesting because that could be meant as so many things. But I think it more so comes from Archer's character and how his manliness and his trauma is being weaponized now because his kid's missing and it's all coming out. And I really just think this movie is about the weaponization of traumas, and that's what I link it to because it has to be about Archer because Archer is seeing it. I don't think it's some basic explanation as like, oh, the kids are just weapons. Because fucking, yeah, it's obvious they're weapons. And that's probably why this movie's called Weapons.
A lot of weapons in the movie.
But a lot of weapons, yeah. But I think on a deeper subconscious level in Cregger's head, like I feel like it has to come from Archer's mentality and where his character is and how reactionary he is. And his trauma is almost being... his trauma is almost being used as like bullets, like this is an assault rifle. It's like that's how he's reacting.
I wonder too. So the image we're talking about is a giant.
It's giant, yeah.
Like it's the size of a cloud, and the 217 that is on the gun is compared to the gun small. Maybe I'm just stretching, but I wonder if like here's your big manliness, your ego, your everything in a big fucking manly. It's not a handgun. It's
an assault rifle.
That's like an assault
rifle. And his character is like an assault rifle of a character, yelling, shouting, manly. Like he's that Little League dad.
But but there's the little 217, and it's like this is who you are, this big fucking tough thing, and that's this. I don't know. Is the 217 because it's like, yeah, it's all gonna, this facade that you have, it's about to come crumbling down because of this thing.
And another one of my favorite scenes in the movie is with him and when he's talking to his son in the bed. And I really thought, like, I was like, oh God, a jump scare is coming. But then the scene lingers, and it's him, and it's Brolin, brilliant acting, crying, can't even get the words out, saying, I wish I said I loved you more. It almost teared me up. But then the fucking movie has the balls to just throw a jump scare in there. And it like lured me into this. The scene happens, and I'm like,
But
oh.
you knew it was coming.
No, but here's the thing. The scene happens. Oh, this is set up to be a jump scare. But then it lingers for 2 more minutes of just Brolin talking. I'm like, oh, this is actually a deeper scene. But then fucking Cregger's got me, and the jump scare happens. I really didn't think the jump scare was happening anymore.
Really?
I didn't.
Okay, I'm like, it's coming.
I didn't.
I kept going like, I kept saying it's coming.
Because
it's
in
coming,
my
it's
head,
coming.
I was like, oh, this scene was really beautiful. I think it would be ruined by a jump scare. But it actually works in terms of the mechanics of being a horror movie. But another interesting thing I want to talk about is Amy Madigan's Gladys popping up in the dream with the makeup. And
I don't know.
I saw a lot of people being like, oh no, they threw that in because it's just a horror movie and it has to be a horror movie with jump scares. But
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting thing to think about is, does this witch, Gladys, have supernatural abilities where she's able to pop up in dreams and it's almost like, yeah, I'm tracking you now. I'm coming for you. Because obviously their 2 targets, you know, Justine and Archer are getting onto her trail and she's trying to avoid that. Is that almost like, yeah, I'm coming for you? Like Gladys, one that without a shadow of a doubt has like supernatural abilities to some extent, but they're not really explored. She's a witch. So I almost think like that was her like in her room, in her like ritual room, like sending out signals or something into their dreams. You know what I mean?
What's interesting, to play off that, so they survived the movie. They're like the winning squad.
Who?
Julia Garner and Josh Brolin.
Yes.
They're like the winning squad of the movie. The person who sees her in person is Austin Abrams. She's there, and oh no, do you think that was a dream? When he sees her in the woods?
That's another thing. I don't know, because that happens after he stumbled into the house. So he's now a target for Gladys.
No, I mean when he's in the...
No, but that does happen after he stumbles.
Yeah.
So now he's a target for Gladys. And these things only happen after, you know, Archer's figuring out that the house is somewhere in that circle. Justine has figured out that there's something weird going on at that house. Gladys does not pop up in their dreams until they're a little bit hot on the trail of Gladys. So it's almost like, yeah, like I'm targeting you, I'm coming for you. Like you're now a target of mine, of my weapons. You know what I mean?
Unless it's like not that she goes after them, but it's no, like, does she know they're coming?
Like I'm watching you. Like I know you're coming for me.
I know you're because she knows they're coming in the one scene, but she knows it's police officers. When she tells Alex, people are going to come to this house.
Yeah, Alden is the only one who doesn't know about where, like, is not on the trail of where the kids are, and he does not have a dream, or he does not see Gladys. But the other 3 characters, or the other 4 characters that have interactions with Gladys, it's because they're hot on Gladys's trail.
You have me. Sorry for the silence here, people listening, but this is what I love about the movie. Mm-hmm. It's just, well, is it? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
There are times where I don't want the exposition dump, but I do like having answers, and I don't need answers to everything. I don't. And this movie does I'm not frustrated. I don't need to know. Like some movies I'm like, they get to a point, maybe because they haven't earned it, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe that's why. And I'm like, no, I want to know what and why this happened. All right, let's talk about Alden Ehrenreich.
Mm-hmm. Paul Morgan is
Paul
the character's
Morgan.
name. Yeah.
All right, I did a lot of talking about him in the spoiler-free section, so why don't you lead the way on Paul?
I think Paul is another really flawed human being, and we had heard Cregger talk in an interview about how each of these characters is like a part of one of the emotions he felt during his trauma. And, you know, Paul was obviously an addict, and he's been sober for a while. And, you know, we follow him on the night that he breaks his sobriety and then cheats on his wife. And then he makes a fatal mistake. And, like, we're just watching how these kids disappearing brings out his vices, brings out his trauma, everything. I thought that was really... I really liked his character. And I know a lot of people say that him and James's 2 perspectives maybe, like, don't add that much to the movie as much as, like, Justine's and, you know, Archer's do. But what I really think Paul's character adds is he's another exploration of trauma in this sense, but he's also, like, he's very he's a weapon himself, and he has the power that a cop has, and he gets stabbed with a needle, and his immediate reaction is to punch James, and and it's caught on the body cam footage, dash cam footage, and just seeing his reaction to that, like it was very unnerving, and it was horrific in its own sense, but it also played into the idea of the central mystery, the central narrative, is like tearing this town apart, and it's very unnerving. His character, his plot, it felt very just dark and unnerving to me, and like this heap of sadness.
Yeah.
And what he plays into Justine's character is very. I really liked his segment of the movie, and it's interesting to note that he's the only one who doesn't have an interaction with Gladys.
He
like in terms of not.
He does.
Not,
we just don't see it.
We obviously like, on screen. I mean, like we don't see his interaction with Gladys. He's the one who doesn't have a dream, and he doesn't see her in person before the final act of the film.
That adds to it, knowing. Again,
like he's never really hot on the trail of the kids.
Right.
It's not until James's section that he finds it, obviously. But
I like how the movie, by the time he meets Gladys, we've seen the effect she has on people.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that when he goes into that house at the end, towards the end, and it's night out, we now know what happened.
Yep.
Because we've literally seen how she does it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Actually, I don't think at that point we've seen. Have we? Wait.
I think we've seen Benedict Wong already.
No.
Have we not? Like how she does the... I think we do know.
I think Marcus comes after James. Yeah, because Marcus is the one right before Alex.
Don't we know at that point, though, when he goes into, like...
We just know that they're in the basement there, and that the parents are fucked up. That's all we know.
Then maybe I'm talking from my perspective. When he went in there...
No, he's gone.
We're like, okay...
Yeah, and then 3 seconds later, we see him drag James in, but
we weren't on to Gladys's...
We aren't at this point in the film,
okay.
no.
Speaking of Gladys, I'm popping open this energy drink, which happens to be the flavor of Alani, that is Witch's Brew, which is just very appropriate.
But I guess we could segue into James's section.
Yeah.
And just like, we heard that Austin Abrams went method for this and was 35 pounds underweight, and he's really great. He brings a lot of comedic relief to it, but it's also a tragic comedic relief.
Yeah,
where like there's the funny scene of him trying to open all the car doors, but that's also sad.
Oh, which by the way, I leaned over to in the movie. That's how I got robbed.
Really?
About a year ago, I was leaving my place, as I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, a little bit before 6 a.m. Because I start work at 6 a.m. I teach a class. And I opened up my car and I sat down and something felt different. I was like, I don't know why. I looked at my sunglasses. I was like, why are my sunglasses in the passenger seat? Because they're usually in the middle console. I'm like, something didn't feel right. And I was like, where you put your drinks, the cup holders, obviously, was gone. So somebody opened it, and the only thing they could find was just my loose change. So they decided to remove the cup holder. And like that's a common thing, just pulling on car doors until, oh, there it is.
Yep.
And what's interesting about that character is like he's such a fuck up, but then like in a real world sense, again, I alluded to this, like we all have known or experienced in our family, friends, or whatever, what alcoholism or drugs does to you. Mm-hmm. Another weapon, like in terms of
weaponizing their vice,
to play into it. So he's this character, again, that's what puts him at an off, frame of mind. The way that we just said what is already lingering for Paul. Mm-hmm. And this is what's already lingering for him.
Yes.
The trauma he has before the storyline then, the plot merges.
Yeah, and like it's sad seeing him get hit by by Paul. And it is sad, but I also like the idea of like this non-linear like perspective narrative and how like he just coincidentally comes by Alex's house, sees the newspapers outside, and is like, oh, no one's home, I can rob this place.
Yeah.
And it's just like this, he's walking around with this like childlike curiosity when he breaks in, and then he just comes across, it's just a coincidence like that this is how it happened. he comes across a like horrific finding of all the kids in the basement, and God, that fucking jump scare got me.
Of them just standing there?
Of them standing there and then immediately like turning around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. I jumped up.
That's what I'm calling, like, and you alluded to before, the Justin Long sequence, where in Barbarian, he's measuring out the house to like get it priced.
When Josh Brolin's measuring out with the tape measure how far she ran in the 7 steps, that kind of reminded me of the Justin Long
that's
scene.
True.
And you know, Justin Long cameo in this
He's
film.
cameos as a father. And it's just funny how, like, in Barbarian, for those who've seen the movie, Justin Long is like, clearly he's got all this horrific shit around him, and he's just focused on something else. Yeah. And in this movie, Austin literally, what's his character's name? I keep calling him by his name now, his real name.
James.
James. He breaks into his house, sees the 2 catatonic parents on the couch, and then just eventually goes back to. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, you're not just. But then I had to remind myself, he's not of sound mind.
Not at all.
Like, he's under the influence of.
It's like he sees the horrific finding of the kids in the basement, and his first thought is $50,000 reward.
Yep. Exactly.
He actually goes. He doesn't even like say anything when he sees the kids. He just goes to the pawn shop to sell what the DVDs and everything that he got, and that's funny in a sense. And then it's when he looks up and he sees the $50,000 reward, and it's like, oh, that's how this is playing into the mystery. Right. Like, we're following his trauma, his character's exploration, his journey, but it's just like that ties into the belly of the narrative.
It does, and
it's cool.
I like how, for a moment, I fell for it. I was like, oh my God, the drug addict, the one who people like, the lodge of this movie, to make an Eddington reference, is going to be the fucking hero. But Zach Cregger was like, no, he's not.
No.
And in my mind, I was like, is he going to be like the thing that gets everything?
I mean, he's the one who discovers the horror, really.
Right.
I mean, Justine is on to Alex's house, something being off.
Right.
But he's the one who makes the discovery.
Because I thought, is he going to be the obscure one who eventually leads this, not save the day like from Glass, but that's going to get the ball? And no, he's dead. He's done. It's like he never, like, some of the people you want to cheer for or you are cheering for, then you're like, they just meet an unfortunate end.
And really loved his performance, what he's doing with his eyes, and the chase sequence with the car.
Yes.
Like, I really thought someone was going to get hit. Like, I thought something bad was going to happen. Like, very intense, so well shot, so well done, so intense. The score,
phenomenally well shot.
Again, another scene of just the unison of the score, all the elements of the filmmaking wrapping into the characters.
Yeah.
Just great. The next perspective we get after that is Marcus, the school principal, who, he's a principal who leads by the book, but he also has this soft nature to him where he lets, Justine off the hook a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's very giving to the parents and, like, wants to help people and has a really cute relationship with his partner.
Yeah.
A really great scene to make it more active of him on the phone with Justine, and he's choosing the cereal flavors.
His partner has 2 Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, and they're and like that's building their relationship. That is giving us why we should care about Marcus.
Yeah.
And what makes that scene with him and Gladys so horrific.
That's at the end of the day, when you look back at the movie or you see what happens to him, you're like,
he didn't deserve that.
He's just a guy. You see that home life him and his partner have, like, they're just trying to have dinner.
It's cute.
He's just trying to be.
He's letting Justine off the hook. He's hosting events to try and help the parents cope with their trauma. He's trying to help Alex. It's sad, but I do want to note on this, when we cut to Marcus and his partner, they're watching something on TV about the cordyceps.
Yes.
The fungal parasitic infection, and it's infecting an ant, and it's like one hive mind controlling them, and that is similar to like the threat of the film and Gladys's control, and how they're all puppets under one mind, being Gladys. And
that's also in the classroom too.
It's also in the classroom. It's on the wall.
Yeah.
In the nightmare, it's on the wall.
Yes.
The parasites and everything. And then when we cut to Alex's perspective, that's the first thing we hear is Justine being like, "Can everyone name a parasite? Like a parasite?"
Yeah.
But the standout scene of Marcus obviously is when we first learn how Gladys's we get somewhat of the details of the science behind Gladys's trance like puppeteering of these people.
Yeah.
And obviously that's what happens to the kids. But that scene is brutal. The sound design is horrific of him
headbutting his partner.
Bashing his partner's head in.
Yeah.
And we see that grisly result too of the face smashed in. and that's what leads to his eyes being bulged out.
Yeah.
And that's such a grisly image that they should not have given away in the trailers.
I know. We were just reviewing the trailers.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what they were thinking of that. A terrible idea. But then you have that great chase sequence, and the way that he's hit by that car, and not only that, Josh Brolin's non-reaction to it.
That's true.
He's just completely arrested by the image. But also, I think that's playing into the idea of how his one singular focus is Matthew and finding
Right.
Matthew, and that's all he cares about. Fuck this principal.
When he gets hit, I think it's also too. It's just like this. It's like being shell shocked by something.
It's that type of shell shock arresting image that Zach Cregger's like that quiet horror that he's obviously going for, because the impact is soft. It actually reminded me a lot of the sound of when during the Ada Stupin cliff scene in Midsummer, the non-impact.
Yeah.
That type of sound. It's a grisly, like, arresting image. It really is.
It's the horror in this movie, for as much as there's some really in your face moments. Mm-hmm. It's just like the subtleties.
Yeah.
Even the decision to shoot that like from a Josh Brolin's like POV.
Yeah.
Like you just see the it's not like an up close shot.
No,
you don't
because
see
that
Benedict
doesn't
Wong.
matter. It's the characters that matter.
Yep.
And interesting science behind the possession or whatever the threat of the film. Obviously, Benedict Wong is set to kill Justine in that scene.
Yeah.
Like she's the target. But when he tackles Archer, he does start choking Archer. And so that makes me think like, oh, this thing will also kill anybody in the way.
Yeah.
It's not just the target. It is the target, but if someone's trying to protect the target, they are now a target too.
I mean, they're a deadly fucking weapon.
Yeah.
So by any means necessary.
Yep. That's just an interesting thing about the science.
It's like a bullet that'll pierce through you to get to, like the real target.
Yeah, but it's kind of after that where Justine and Archer come together and they're now working together in unison as a force, and they come across Alex's house and they uncovered, how not only Paul but James are now infected, and you get that really creepy shot of Alden walking outside the house and waving for her to come in. Really creepy, fucking gnarly. All the images of that like darkness. I don't even think we talked about in spoilers, like Alex's mom coming out and cutting the hair off Justine. That was the scene I was referring to with the violin and seeing things off screen. That actually got a unison reaction in our audience of like, oh my god, like people were saying out loud like fuck, like that was terrifying.
Again, like you started to say before, to hold on Julia Garner, knowing that fucking the back door is open.
Yeah.
I've said this like 3 or 4 times already during the recording of this. Like I just keep getting goosebumps.
Yep.
And like the shot, watching her from a distance, and then she gets closer and closer and closer, and then you're like, oh god, she's actually there, and then she disappears. Like I just love the way Cregger just shoots this shit.
And then that transitions to like the saddest perspective in the film, which is Alex, and he's really like the heart main character of this film. It is really just really sad. I mean, like, it's obviously showing that his parents love him, like, deeply. Like, he has a really great, cute relationship with his father. And it's such, like, a shell shock to, like, throughout the movie, we see the parents in a catatonic state. So it's almost shocking to see them, the dad being like, hey, buddy, like, how was school? Like, everything. Like, it's a little, like, shell shocking, like, to see it. It's a crazy, like, image that's playing with the nonlinear narrative. It feels like Alex's story is just so tragic. Him discovering like Aunt Gladys and what her true identity is, him having to feed all of the kids and his parents with the soup, the horrific fork stabbing scene, which is just like a gnarly image, and it's just so upsetting seeing it from Alex's perspective. It's such an upsetting like image.
Interesting
him
thing,
like running to the dad and being like, "Daddy, stop! Daddy, stop!" Oh, it's horrible.
Interesting thing too is, again, it's not like when she controls these people, she snaps the twig. And when people have seen the movie, obviously, why are you listening? You know what we're talking about. You wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't.
Yep.
In my mind, it's like, again, this is like, it's left up to whatever, but okay, how did that equal something as specific as stabbing yourself with a fork? She breaks the twig, and Benedict Wong
I think it's working off the science of her brain. Like she's transmitting these like targets and rules within her brain. It's like a supernatural phenomenon. She's a real witch.
And this and again, I can't say much because you have not seen Bring Her Back.
Oh yeah.
But something that this and Bring Her Back does that I really, really like is they give you, and I'm trying to say too much because you haven't seen it, is they give you enough to understand what's going on, but they don't give you like a whole lot of answers at the same time. Like about the inner workings of how this works. You get it, but if you're somebody who wants to know everything, you're fucked with this movie.
Oh yeah, this is all about interpretations and what this means to you. The science behind what's actually going on is not important.
Yeah, we don't need
to
it.
the emotions of the characters. It's not needed. It's fun to talk about, like in Together.
Right.
We talked about for like 20 minutes about the science of that film, but that's not what's needed here. It's the emotions of the characters and their trauma. What's really important. But just everything with Alex was so sad. But then you also kind of understand like why he's helping Aunt Gladys in that sense. He just wants his parents back. Also, those kids bullied the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So like, why would he care about taking all their name tags? And that was a great scene where he's like surveying the classroom for what he could take, and then like coming to the realization that he could just take all the name tags. Like that was a great scene. And even seeing him Justine trying to connect with him, and like him like blowing her off and everything, like really great stuff.
God, it was almost like a pseudo warning, like stop following me.
Yeah, like stay away from me.
Yeah,
like,
not just simply just stop following me. I mean, and that kid entering the film, like again, what he takes forward, like he actually
he becomes center stage.
Yeah, but he has like a happy start. Like when you see what his life was first, like it is the white picket fence, with
everything.
Both parents, like they're not fighting a divorce. It's not like it's like, oh, this kid was fucked up already. Now he's more fucked up. He had like a very even like start. Like he was fine.
No, Carrie Christopher delivers like an insane like child actor performance. He's like he's got the sauce.
He does. And looking at him again and now flashing just really quickly to the end of the movie, then your brain's like, what is this kid going to be like coming out of this?
Yeah, it's upsetting, but I will get to that.
Yeah, we were on Alex for a second, so my brain was there.
But I really want to talk about the score in the scene where him and Aunt Gladys watch all the kids arrive in the middle of the house. That's the most like tribal, horrific score in the film, where it's just like,
yeah,
like as they're all running in, and it's such a great image. And like like seeing that was the mystery, and that this movie is like actually like a witch subgenre.
Yeah.
Like that's the subgenre of this. Like that's the subgenre of the horror here. Like it's a witch, and like her possessing people, and then that was like, it was kind of predictable in a sense, but not really predictable. Like Aunt Gladys is like thrown out of like nowhere, and like the images of her with the makeup, like especially when James sees her in the woods, reminded me a lot of the Pennywise wave.
Yeah.
Reminded me a lot of that. It is a horrific image. Like that really got under my skin, because you just about can't see her face, but you could see the image of the orange hair in the wave, and it's like, fuck. Like I don't even know if I would have ran the tent. I would have like ran somewhere else. Like
I would run away.
Yeah,
like just get the fuck out.
Like get out of the fucking woods. But this kind of all like leads to the
Do you think that's why in the one dream sequence for with the Justine, why the kid also has like the blue and the red, like it's almost like Gladys's makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would say so.
He's under her.
But again, we don't know. We can only interpret.
Exactly.
Do you want to talk about? We can talk about like the final act showdown now in Alex's house.
The kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about like the fight scene between
leading up
Brolin
to
and James and
because they walk in
Justine and Paul.
Right, Paul and what's Austin Abrams' name?
James.
They're in their catatonic state, and Garner, Justine, Julia Garner, and Josh Brolin's character Archer end up having to take him on. And that's another scene that, with even somebody who's this frail, like just beat to shit's addict, and then you see how strong the hold is on him, because it becomes comical how many times Brolin's got to throw him aside.
It does. It is comical, but it's horrific too.
Yeah, the relentless nature. Like even like a smaller guy like that, who one punch earlier in the movie knocked him the fuck out.
Yep.
Brolin punches him repeatedly, on
The
top of him.
dichotomy of that is really interesting.
Yeah.
The comparison.
And the punch Alden gives is like a bullshit punch. Brolin is ground and pound mounting him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stop. Like, that comparison's just to show you again how fucking strong this hold is. But to go further into that scene, I mean, yeah, it's funny. That's where, again, a little bit of comedy blends in.
But it's the comedy and the horror mixing together.
Yes, it is.
And like watching like Paul and Justine fight, and finally Justine becoming a badass in that scene and using the gun, and we find out that the way you kill these things is a gun to the head, and their blood is like black.
True. It's like a zombie. It's like, how do you beat them? It's got to be a headshot.
Yep.
Or take their head off.
I like the simple science of that.
Nothing stopping it. Even it becomes, again, what you said, the tones of comedy and horror. When her, like, it's funny to me how she kept trying. She grabs the carrot peeler, whatever it is, and peels
his skin off.
But she just what were you expecting to do? Peel him to death?
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought she was going to hit him and be like, oh, fuck. And, like, she actually keeps peeling, thinking, though, however, he's got to stop, right?
She goes for his gun.
Clearly.
Smart, yeah.
So it's like, but it's so funny how she actually tries like 3 times.
Yeah.
So you're like grimacing, but laughing in a way.
But it's also like this is like a small detail, but it's also relating to like Gladys's like ego as the witch and thinking she can like has complete control over everything. Like she leaves the gun loaded on him because she believes he has total control, but forgets that someone could take it.
True.
You know, and she reveals herself to like everybody.
Yeah.
Going to Marcus's house and everything. She is definitely has an ego of her power. And that's why when Alex finally overpowers like his parents, and really smart like sequence, like, and we know that he's a smart kid, a quiet, smart kid, but the way that he outsmarts Gladys and his parents who are after him in that scene. And watching his parents attack him, and like there's that great allusion to the Shining with her coming through the door and everything. Like just watching him overcome that was really powerful. And it was I like that he was smart enough to use her hair. Yeah. And it was really interesting using her. And then you get the great sequence where all the kids run up in unison and attack. There's
always a motorcycle at some point.
I know.
When we record, there's always a
That's a new
motorcycle.
bit. Yeah.
It's a bit. The guy, he's like, it's Sunday. I got to drive down East Front Street. That ending, I try to think at times when I literally, in the theater, I've done it at home plenty of times, but in the theater was cheering at something like it was a sports game. Yeah. And when those kids are running up on her, and yeah, now she's running. She seems pretty healthy at the end. She's fucking running.
Yeah, because she's drained all that life, like energy. I was
hitting my little whatever stand you put your popcorn in your seat at Cinemark. I was like, go, go, go. Like this movie had me so wanting.
And the way it blends the horror and the comedy of that, like watching the neighbors, just like watch Gladys scream and all the kids scream running after her.
And she's running. I keep comparing it to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, is when she's running through the yards and through the houses. Yeah, and the camera's
just so good. Yeah. And the shaky cam of the actual guy operating it handheld is so good.
Favorite shot of the movie.
And you really got to think about like how much preparation went into the blocking of that. There's glass being broken. Yeah. We're following multiple different POVs. Really just insane filmmaking in that final sequence that leads to like my favorite scene in the film. And it had this like Western revenge triumphant feel. Yeah. Like very much like Django killing Samuel L. Jackson at the end of Django. Like I felt good watching those kids rip her apart. And then that's immediately coincided with like the very traumatic ending of the film, in which we learn via voiceover that, you know, like obviously Justine will be fine. Josh Brolin's character will be fine. Obviously Paul and James are dead. They're victims of this.
Well, they will be. But at the same time, they're not just going to come out of this.
No, but yeah. So here's the thing.
Just fine.
I love the final image of this film. Yeah. It really stuck with me. And I didn't know why at first, but I do know now. I know why now. Now that I've really pieced together the movie in my mind and how it's about trauma. These characters, we're seeing how they respond to trauma all throughout the film. And then the final image of the film is like how trauma will always stick with you. Mm. And that coincides with the voiceover of the final lines of the movie being, you know, like Alex's parents, they're in a catatonic state forever, and he's living in an orphan, and like he's an orphan now. Yeah, horror, like not an orphan, but he's living with an aunt. Mm. it's
Yeah,
just
another ant.
Another ant.
Yeah, he fucking doesn't trust any ant now.
Yeah, really tragic ending for him. But that's also talking about like how's Alex going to deal with that trauma now of his parents. Like each character has to live with the trauma of what they've endured, and it's like it's a rebirth of the traumatic cycle.
Yeah.
Now that this event is over, how are these people going to live with the trauma? And there was a great final line of like, you know, the kids were in a catatonic state for a year, but they're just finally starting to talk now. And we see the final image of Brolin carrying Matthew away, and it's a hold on Matthew's catatonic, just horror, like it's really tragic face.
Yeah.
And you know that to me is there's the dialogue with the voiceover of it being hopeful. Like a year later, some kids are finally starting to talk.
True.
But it's his face, and that's the face that he's gonna be living with, and it's like that the trauma in that face. Great, I don't know that actor's name, but great child acting too. It's so sad, but it's the dual nature of the ending. It's the dialogue being hopeful, but the image being utterly tragic. And it's like the rebirth of this traumatic cycle. Like you can make a sequel to Weapons and how the characters respond to the trauma of this event being over. And that's what this movie is, because this movie is about the trauma and the trauma of the event happening and how we explore the characters' different reactions to that. Like some use vice, some just come about it unexpectedly, whatever. That's what the ending of this movie is to me. It's like the rebirth of the traumatic cycle. It's what we live with after something's over, you know?
Is the rebirth also, do you take that as like life rebirth, life cycle? It's like, oh yeah, well, the older people dealt with it, like throughout, older as in not older, but like...
Adults.
The adults.
Yeah.
And we're finishing with the youth, and then how they're going to have to take this into their life going forward.
People thought this ending was really rushed, and I mean, you could say that you could have had like a whole epilogue, I guess, but it wasn't really needed. The story was over, but there was something so arresting and horrific about that final image and how it coincided with the hopeful dialogue. But it was only hopeful in some sense. It was like some kids are finally starting to talk. We don't know if Matthew's one of them.
I also think going into that after it was rewarding to see Gladys meet her demise and the way she met it.
Yeah.
But to not spend too much time until we get to the end, to where you're barely coming down from that, if at all, and then to just go right into that ending. It's not like we get a montage of what happened. And
no, we're just feeling the raw, striking emotions.
Still having been affected by everything we just saw. The big fight scene, her getting ripped apart, and then to go into... I thought that was actually very well.
I thought it was very well paced. I thought it was great. So great. But just that image really of that kid's face, it stuck with me for some reason. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I think it's a really haunting image. Because even though the threat of the film is killed, like this kid has to live with what he endured in that basement forever.
It's almost like a curse. It's like when you witches and put curses on you. It's like these people in a way have been like cursed.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very like tragic but somewhat hopeful ending, and I like that. Like it's not so horror. Like there's that great line of dialogue. Like some kids are finally starting to talk. It's not so horrific and tragic. There's a little bit of hope in there, but it's also realistic in that like this is the trauma we're gonna have to live with now.
The ending of this, as I think about it, reminds me of my favorite movie of 2024, Longlegs, where the ending, like the bad guy,
story ends kind of
meets
abruptly.
Their demise.
Yeah.
Moments later, the movie's over, and I left there thinking, what happens to Agent Harkin after that?
Oh.
Lee Harker. Harker. All
right, let's go right back into it.
Like, what happens to her at the end? What happens to the little girl? How are they get affected by this? Like, is the curse of the devil still there? Is it not? Is it, even though Osgood did some of that up, but it's still like, well, there's this leftover effect, and that's what I like about Weapons. It's like you find out, like, well, like they're coming out of, some are coming out of the States, some are talking.
It's a bow tie to what the theme of the movie is.
But
it's a real
not
bow tie.
a pleasant bow tie.
Yeah, it's like these kids were abused and used as weapons, and like we're like cheering that they ripped Gladys apart, but they were used as a weapon, and it's traumatic. And I think that's also talking about how some kids are used, and it's like a cycles of abuse and everything. And there's so much thematically in this movie that's going on under the main mystery and the horror elements. Like it's just, I really thought this was like a beautiful, upsetting movie, and like it needs its praises to be sung. And I mean,
when you talk, sorry, real quick, when you talk about like rebirth and what those kids take forward, it's almost like looking at the adults of the movie and how they had something already within them that had them
that's brought out by this
off,
event.
flawed, brought out. Alden Ehrenreich, we got into it already, but it's almost like, okay, is this the thing for the kids that's they're now going to take into adulthood, that they're going to carry around, that's going to affect their experience, their life experiences? The way that these adults already have their shit that's already within them that they're dealing with is like, okay, this is then probably for these kids. Now they take this forward as something that's going to have them a bit fucked going forward.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's this, like, again, the rebirth thing was a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's like the rebirth of trauma.
Yeah.
But man,
Like a cycle.
This was a really just great horror film. It was about so much more than horror. It's about deeply flawed human beings and their response to a very traumatic event. And the mystery is so well built. Horror in the basement, just like Barbarian. That's a nice little similar illusion. And you get the Justin Long cameo. Bless you. Yeah.
We haven't had a sneeze on the
We haven't yet. Yeah, that's a first for the pod.
It's okay.
Really just great all around. The unison of filmmaking tying into the characters and everything working on a perfect level. This is like perfect filmmaking. This is easily like my favorite film of the year.
I want to ricochet off that.
Yeah.
It's also my movie of the year.
Yes.
To throw some very impressive numbers out there. I don't know where I want to start with. Let's go into the ratings first, for the hell of it. And a little in comparison with Barbarian. So Cregger, his first like big movie.
Yeah.
So Barbarian, going by Rotten Tomatoes, 92% tomato meter, 70% popcorn meter, where Weapons right now, tomato meter is 95, the popcorn meter is at 87%. So again, he's continuing to hit on all these levels.
Yes.
Now, to go into something that I found we both did very impressive that we didn't know going into this recording, is it opened with 70 million worldwide on a budget of 38 million.
Incredible.
It's
one of the biggest openings for an original film.
One of the biggest global openings for an original film in the past decade.
Yeah.
It was projected at 30 to 40. This is a bigger opening than Sinners, and Sinners was taking it at first. And to go into something like fucking wild here is this is the year of Warner Brothers. They've become the first studio in history to have 6 consecutive films to earn 40 million plus on their openings.
Yeah, they have a hold.
Minecraft, Sinners, Final Destination, Bloodlines, F1, Superman, Weapons. 50% of those movies are original films. So
it's incredible.
Again, Weapons scares up to
as much as I don't like the corporate side of Warner Brothers, they did kill it. And they killed it this year.
I'm cracking my knuckles on a podcast. IGN.com says their latest headline was Weapons scares up to 42 million box office opening, becomes Warner Brothers' 7th number 1 of the year. Fucking Weapons.
I can't wait to see how far this goes with word of mouth. And like word
of mouth's gonna be big.
I've told like 8 different people like how great this film was, like my close friends and my parents, my sister, and they were all like, "Oh wait, will you go see it with me?" Like 9 different people have asked to go see this movie with me now. So it's I don't know how many fucking times. I might just have a whole group event, just pulling the most random people together.
I'll go again.
Right, we're going to see Weapons.
I'll go again.
Like, not like 10 different people who don't even know each other.
Like, that'd be fun. Like, that'd be so fun. Just like the movie.
The randomness, we all converge on the theater.
The randomness of that, exactly.
But I don't tell any of them. That we're going with a group. It's just like, hey, yeah, let's meet up there. And then we all just like, hey, wait, you're here too?
Yep. There are people who don't know each other too.
All of our different perspectives.
Exactly.
But do you want to get into the rating for this film? I feel like we really did a huge deep dive into this. I think we can end it now.
Yeah, you don't have anything else to say?
No, I've really talked about how much I love this film, why, and all the incredible aspects of it.
One other, while we're talking ratings, ironically, I was just pulling up out of curiosity, IMDb. Okay. I can't help but compare. He's had 2 big movies so far. Mm-hmm. Barbarian is a 7.0 on IMDb, and this one right now is a 7.9. And I mean, this goes back to now, man, it's like there's a few horror-based directors that I can't be more excited for when it comes to their movies. Jordan Peele, Zach Cregger, Robert Eggers, Osgood Perkins.
But it's really interesting, especially talking about Jordan and Zach here. Two interesting notes about the two of them for this film is that both of them are comedians turned directors and have such a hold over the horror genre and its timing.
Yeah.
And I think that just comes down to comedy and timing and being good at that. They're both so fucking good at that. But also how they're connected with this film in terms of like, there was a huge bidding war for this script in Hollywood, and Zach got it himself.
Yeah.
And Jordan was pissed that he didn't get it, so he fired his team. And that's just really interesting.
Ryan Coogler also took ownership of Sinners.
Yeah.
He has that contract.
I mean, I don't know if Cregger has ownership of this film, but he got to direct it himself.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Never mind.
And I'm really glad because he has such a singular identity as a director.
Yeah.
And he has this idea of like pulling different storylines and showing different perspectives and how he doesn't care about how jarring the shift could be. He just does it, and it always works. And that's why I'm so excited for his next film, which I believe is a Resident Evil adaptation, which is one of my favorite game series of all time.
And I can give a fuck about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But because it's Zach Cregger, night one, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, this turns me into somebody now, again, going back to the power of what a filmmaker can do. Mm-hmm. This makes me want to see Resident Evil.
Yes.
I've played the games like in an arcade when I was 8, and I never watched one of the movies. Now, I think I want to watch all the movies to then see in comparison or whatever. Like, now I'm interested in the old ones, and especially this one, and it's because of this movie.
Mm-hmm. I love this film, and I really think you'll be missing out. I don't even care if you're not a horror fan. You'll be missing out on one of the best original films easily in this decade if you don't go see it in the theater.
I said to one of my clients, two of my clients saw it. One loved it. One said movie of the year. I said we agree, movie of the year.
Yeah.
I told another client about this movie, who's not a big horror film fan. She wants to see it.
Yeah.
It's because the premise.
The premise is so interesting, but then Cregger just pulls up reverse on you, and it's like, now I'm going to make you live through the trauma of these characters. And it's like, the premise is not at all what this movie's about. That's so fucking cool.
I showed my mom the trailer, who's not a horror fan. She's interested.
Yeah, it's such an interesting premise.
Like the because how do you see this trailer and you don't want to know?
I know. You got to know. Like, why did these kids go away?
Exactly.
But then that's not even what the movie's about.
Yep.
So good. All right.
Riff rating? 10.
I'm at a 10.
I'm going full-blown 10.
I'm at a 10.
Fucking,
we're doing it.
That's a high five.
That's our first 10.
On this mic. Yeah, that's an easy 10.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. All right.
We're both at a 10.
We're both at a 10. That's it. Go. I don't know why I'm yelling. Go see Weapons. We're going to see it again in IMAX.
Yep.
I feel like that's going to make it an even better experience.
Most likely.
And you said, if you haven't seen trailers, remember?
You are winning life right now. So go fucking see this. You know nothing about this, even better.
Stay away.
I mean, I'm assuming if you're at this point, you've seen the movie.
Yeah, that's true. What the fuck
if there's anybody still listening, if you're a fucking weirdo, fuck you, first of all. And
Wait, why would you say that?
And you know what? Go fuck yourself. Thank you for watching.
Is that it?
And that's that.
Wait, do we do the like, subscribe, share?
You know what? Like, subscribe, follow my letterbox. I don't care if you really do, but you can. I'm kidding. Both out of 10. Weapons is our movie of the year so far. There's a little bit of time left. But thank you for watching.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.